All right, thank you very much, Mr. Obehi. The conversation has really been a very interesting, educative one, and my special appreciation to everyone that has spoken before now. I say that I'm coming from the B2B aspect right now. The truth is that storytelling is an inevitable skill in business. Your story must be able to create a story for those that hear it.
We are here for your solution. And like Izu has said, we are here because there is a solution for you. If we can't find a solution for you, then we don't have any reason to be here, because that is the promise that we have made. And that is why we are here every day. We are coming all the time, bringing in different people to share their expertise with you. Because if you pay attention to what they are sharing here, sharing their experiences in the business world, what they are coming across, and what you can leverage also in your own business, then you are going to have a lot of value for the time that you are spending here.
Okay, so when I have become successful, I am now touring the world, I now have books, I'm now a global name, is when I need to tell my transformative story. And I don't think that's the case. I believe that whatever leap you've made or taken in your career, somebody wishes to be there, and there's somebody that you could be helping. So don't, cancel yourself out before even getting there. You want to show progress. Ultimately, the goal of the transformative narrative is to show progress, whether it's big or small. And that's where the mistake happens, is people think, well, I need to have, signed a $100,000 book before, I can tell my transformative story. Share the story of where you are. Share the story of how you started your journey and where you are now in your journey.
What we are having to talk about today is the power of transformative narrative in a business storytelling. And this cannot be said better. In that in business, we need to be able to take people from point A to point B. We don't need to leave the customer to just find their way around in our business. By the time they enter into our ecosystem, we should be able to help them understand who we are, what we represent, what kind of solution I will bring it to the marketplace. Just now, we were just talking of the payment gateway system in Africa, looking at PayPal, for example. PayPal is not very functioning for us in Africa. So maybe the people that have the money in Africa should sort of consider that, because now we have a problem, we need a solution. So this is a giant company can spring up somewhere in Africa to resolve that problem. Then a lot of people will jump in because we are looking for a solution to our problem. And because we are in a creative economy or the knowledge-based economy for most people, and we want to be able to compete in the world, and we identify that this is our problem, somebody should be ready to cash in on that problem, because problem is the most beautiful thing that you need if you are in business. Because if you don't have a problem, then you don't have any reason being in business. Because as an entrepreneur, you are finding a solution to the problem of the people. And many African creatives today are asking for the infrastructure to be able to compete in the world. So that is a problem. And we're looking for people who are bold enough to say, okay, I'm stepping in and putting in my money where my mouth is. And of course, we are going to cash in at the end of the day. All right, why don't I just start with Tanya. Tanya Kabuya is joining us from South Africa. Tanya, tell the people who you are and what is your first take on the conversation, the power of transformative narrative in business storytelling. Please take it off.
Thank you so much, Obehi, for having me. Thank you so much to the VIP in the lounge here, everybody that is listening in. Without you guys, we wouldn't have a room. So incredibly grateful for your presence. For those who are unfamiliar with me, because I see some familiar faces here, I am Tanya. I am a revenue operator. So in the simplest term, my role when I work with companies at our agency is to help you grow your revenue and profit sustainably, scale, and obviously create great enterprise value for you as a business. And one of the key things we do for a lot of the companies, because we mostly work with tech and tech-enabled businesses, is go-to-market. If you don't know what is go-to-market is simply creating the strategy to either penetrate a market or gain market share in an existing market that you currently have. And one of the things that we have learned over the years to leverage is storytelling. Because stories are the easiest way for the brain to comprehend what you do as a business. Because how we think as human in everything that we do, we tell ourselves stories. So that's why it's very important to incorporate that. So in terms of transformative narratives, for me, it's one of the most powerful way to share what you do. I'll give you an example. I right now hate, completely despise Instagram, but I'm really, really active on Threads because Threads has turned into what I believe is the Twitter of the creative entrepreneur space. So it kind of is like a bit of social lessoning for a lot of businesses that serve the creative space, the online business space. So I'm quite active on there, making connections and really just listening and commenting, and just also sometimes just being kind of like of just fun. So what happens is that because you are active on Threads, a lot of people are going into your Instagram, and my Instagram looked like trash. I've really wasn't really paying attention to that, which meant that because a lot of my ideal clients were going into my Instagram and I hadn't set it up to be part of my funnel, I was losing deals and opportunities. So what I did, I created, the whole, I don't know if you're familiar, the whole 9 to 12 grid strategy on Instagram, where we see the 9 to 12 grids. People can learn about what you do, who you are, and how you help clients. So I created that. And that's creating a narrative, because when you click on my Instagram, you get on my page, you finally can get a grasp of who we serve, what we do, what life looks like for them right now, what life could look like for them, what are their pain points and what they should reach out to us, and what are our core beliefs for the business. So within those 9 to 12 grids, they get a grasp of that and they can immediately either slide into my DM or book a consultation. And guess what? I got DMs to reply to now from Instagram, which wasn't happening. So that's the power of a narrative, because what I didn't tell people that we are helping you grow profit. I actually created a story. I created a story and a narrative around what is happening in their life right now. How are they waking up in the morning, and how are they feeling in the morning? They're feeling overwhelmed, they're feeling scared, they feel like they are handling everything in the business and the weight of the world is on their shoulders. Describing that, because that's how they feel, that's the pain. I always say that we buy from a place of pain. So when you're able to describe the pain through the narrative that you create for your business, you will have much better conversions. So I think that's my first take.
Thank you so much for that, Tanya. I appreciate that. I so much appreciate that. The thing I really want to pick out there from you, Tanya, is that through the story that we share, we are able to get people to engage with us in our businesses. I really want to write it, and of course, in fact, I'm going to put it out there as a post just now, because it is powerful in that when we are in business telling story, we have the intention, we know what we are doing. And because we are doing it intentionally, we even have a way to measure whether that is working or not. Because at the end of the day, because it is a business, everything in business can be measured. Of course, those of you that are in marketing, you understand that if you are telling story, you know that you are going to be able to measure it at the end of the day, because this way it helps you to understand whether it is working or not. It's different from maybe, for example, you are in a bar, the coffee man have not brought the coffee to you, so for that reason you just enter into a conversation with somebody. You don't really have a lot to measure whether that is effective or not. But in business storytelling, you take the time to curate what you are saying. you take the time to put out the message that you are going to share with people. It is not by accident. So because you are careful of what you say and how you are saying it, you're going to be able to measure it at the end of the day. Perhaps what you want is to have a lot of like. Maybe that is your own KPI for that. Or maybe what you want is to get more people interactive with you, share messages with you, or share their experiences with you. If that is what you want, the way you will put your story out is going to be different from another person who is looking for a client. So depending on the story that you are telling, the people are going to know what they are going to do with you or what they are going to do for you at the end of the day. So I think it is important that storytelling can actually help us to find our way around and help us to get people to react to what we are saying because we are saying it intentionally. That is very important. Thank you all for that. Hannah Idachaba, I want to pass the mic to you. Please share with us the conversation remains the power of transformative narrative in business storytelling. Please share with us.
Much, Mr. Obehi. It's always a pleasure to be here. Hello, everyone. My name is Hannah Idachaba. Oh, Bimbo has gone out. I wanted to say hi to her. Hi, Tanya. Hi, Annie. Hi, Izu. It's always a pleasure to be here with you guys and to everyone listening today. Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a good day. As Mr. Obehi has introduced, my name is Hannah Idachaba and I am a personal brand strategist. And storytelling plays a huge role in what I do. I particularly help female entrepreneurs in business. I help move them from, like a mediocre LinkedIn experience to a more lucrative, LinkedIn experience. Because a lot of the times people have LinkedIn profiles and don't know how to navigate it. So I help with that. Excuse my voice, I'm going through a semi-cold, but I hope I'm a bit audible. I just would like to go into today's conversation. I really love transformative narrative in business storytelling because I have found it to be the most effective form of storytelling for me. I think that's what really grabs my attention the most amongst like other forms of storytelling. Not because they're not successful, but for me, I think the nature of who I am is just, okay, I want to know how you can help me. And with transformative style, it's pretty straightforward, right? I now know, okay, this is where you were and this is how you're going to help me. So I'm going to start today's conversation with saying, before you even think about writing a transformative narrative form of storytelling, the first thing that you should do is think this: can this influence someone who's out there right now to make a move? That should be the first thing at the back of your mind. With my storytelling that I have in front of me, the story that I have in front of me, can it influence someone to make that move? Because we're talking about business right now. And I'm very glad that Mr. Obey spoke about how everyone has a different experience or a different goal on LinkedIn or in life generally, in life period. With that said, I'm going to be talking majorly about business because I believe that a lot of the times we miss that. If you are interested in transformative storytelling in business, then you need to think about the people that you are creating the narrative for, you're writing the narrative for, or recording the video for, or doing a podcast for. You need to think about what are they going to take from this? Are they going to make that move, whether it's to make inquiries or to actually purchase the products or to inquire of your services? Whatever you are, wherever situation or position you are in business, you need to think, will they make the move? Can it influence them enough to make the move? That's the first thing you need to think about. Like I said, is one of the most powerful and the most successful forms of storytelling. It's one form of storytelling that I particularly love the most. And when I think about transformative narrative, I think about the before and after photos that a lot of weight loss influencers and a lot of people online use when they want to do weight loss. That's a perfect example of transformative narrative, is showing a picture of somebody before and then a picture of them after. It's pretty straightforward with that one. And just to point it out there, pictures like that are also a really good way to tell a transformative story or to tell a transformative narrative. Pictures play a huge role in that because without a lot of words, you can have people know exactly what you're trying to tell them, exactly what they're going to get. And so yes, if you can add pictures when you're telling your transformative story. But that's one example that I wanted to put out there. The transformative content type, I would just say that when you've gotten to the peak of your career, a lot of people think that that's when you need to tell your transformative story. Okay, so when I have become successful, I am now touring the world, I now have books, I'm now a global name, is when I need to tell my transformative story. And I don't think that's the case. I believe that whatever leap you've made or taken in your career, somebody wishes to be there, and there's somebody that you could be helping. So don't, cancel yourself out before even getting there. You want to show progress. Ultimately, the goal of the transformative narrative is to show progress, whether it's big or small. And that's where the mistake happens, is people think, well, I need to have signed $100,000 book before I can tell my transformative story. Share the story of where you are. Share the story of how you started your journey and where you are now in your journey. Is it a big leap? Good, perfect, wonderful. If it's a big leap, if it's a small leap, it's still good. Somebody out there is looking forward to having such a change in their life. So go ahead, and share a transformative story. Somebody out there, that might be the push that they need to inquire of your services. So don't wait until you feel like you have hit, the goal of like the global name or whatever. Share your story where you're at. I just wanted to end by saying that. Don't cancel yourself out before you get to that stage where you feel like you are at the perfect point of your life. You can always share your story regardless of wherever you are in your journey. But with that said, I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone has to say today. I'm so excited to be here speaking to all of you. And my name is Hannah Gachaba. My DMs are always open. Feel free to pop me a message anytime. And I hope you all have an amazing day. Thank you, Mr. Obehi.
Thank you so much, Hannah. That is such a beautiful input there. It's really powerful. In fact, it made me remember one time I made a post that sort of a congratulatory post, and also thanking the people that are supporting me on LinkedIn, because I've reached, I think that was 15,000 followers at the time. And when I did that, I said that there were people who were also making similar posts, but they have gotten 1,000. And then I said, okay, there are people that are making similar posts, but they have gotten 50,000. And there were people that were making similar posts, they are getting over 100,000 followers on LinkedIn, which basically say that each of us are in different level in this ladder of, if you want to call it success, but not really, let's say in the journey that we are, because success is not a competition, but the competition actually is between you and you. But you are in a journey anyway. You are just moving in the ladder. Everybody is in their different ladder. So like Anna is saying, what I really beautifully am taking away from there is that you are not going to only tell the story because you have got it to the last line in your ladder. Maybe that is not where the story is, but when you have taken the first one, that can be something to celebrate there. You could share that, how you have gotten the very first one. That can be a beautiful one. You don't need to wait till you have completed what you want to do in life before you can tell your story. But because that is not guarantee that you are even going to be there to tell the story. You don't know what is going to happen. So this is the time right now to tell your story. I think another good example about that would be when we set our goal. You set your goal to be able to achieve a certain thing for a certain amount of time. Now, you don't need to only celebrate it when you have gotten that, because, it is not what you are going to get that is actually the most important. The most important thing is the journey. If we continue to celebrate every day that we are in that journey of success, I think it can make a lot of sense for people, because maybe where the people really need to get from you is not that you have achieved it, but that you are on it and you are still continuously, strongly to get to where you want to go to. I think that can be really very important, even as a transformative storytelling. I see, Tanya, you are blinking your mind. Please say something quickly before we move to Annie.
Thank you. I just wanted to back off of what Anna just shared, because most of the time in these rooms, we often talk of from the perspective of businesses selling or offering services. But this whole concept of transformative narrative does not stop with businesses. If you are a founder raising capital, if you are a venture capitalist or private equity fund raising capital, you are going to need to learn how to tell stories. Because I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, I had a meeting with a venture capitalist who is also an impact investor, and he has a portfolio of over 40 companies. For them, it's mostly buy and hold. For those that are familiar with the by the buying of businesses, they will understand what I'm trying to say. And when I was asking him, like, so what makes you decide to invest in a business? What is that thing that they do that you like, okay, this business will be successful or not? And what he said, and this I've heard this because I have been fortunate enough to meet a number of investors. He said, I look at the mission and the vision. When I ask why they're doing something, the story they tell me. So even if I'm investing in that business and I lose money, I know that they didn't try to take me for a ride. So the power of stories is not limited to just offering products and services. When you are raising capital, when you're trying to get a venture capitalist or an investor to understand the mission that you are on, you want to have storytelling. You want to be able to draw a story, whether it is on your pitch deck or whether it is when you're presenting. You want to be able to draw the picture in their minds that this is what how transformative and innovative this product, this offer, this service, this technology that we're creating is going to be. You need to be able to, because they review a ton, and I mean a ton of pitch decks. So even your pitch deck needs to be able to tell a story. So they'll be like, oh, I need to give this person 15 minutes of my time so they can pitch me and I can write a check. So I just wanted to piggyback off of what Anna said around being able to tell the stories and drawing the picture in people's minds.
Thank you so much for that. And that is really highly valuable. Of course, that is what it means. A couple of days ago, I was interviewing a crowd founder who actually help people to raise money, raise funds if they are in business. And we talked about also how to use the power of story to do that. Because if what you are going to be doing at the end of the day is just show data, statistics, it will work, but it's going to be difficult to really capture the heart and mind of the people, because people want something to give them something to feel. When you can give people something to feel, they will feel it, and feel it supersede statistics every other day. So of course, there's no doubt that this is actually what is the right thing that we need to be doing in our business, using the power of storytelling. All right, so with that, we move to the godfather of all, Mr. Enning. Please share with us, you know the drill, you know the topic of the day. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. So let me welcome some of our friends who've joined us. Many of you have, so I'm truly grateful. We're always grateful to see you all, my friends. Now, Jay, I see you. My dad, our menopause dietitian, Lisa, is here as well. So Alex, dentist, Mrs. Sa, I don't know how to pronounce your name properly. Temi, I see you. My sister Eloho, the brand strategist, glad you're here. Lisa, I see you too. Who else do I see? Guild V, if I'm pronouncing your name properly, my friend. So David, I see you too. Sylvia, welcome. Professor Shirley, one of my amazing co-hosts on this platform, talks about women, educators' well-being. And this week we're talking about women educators. To connect with her, especially if you're a teacher or a lecturer, anyone who works in education institutions, full stop. Julius, I see you. My sister Gloria, glad you're here. Bernard, thanks for joining us. You beat me too, Bernard. So Ziad, I see you too. Raven, Robert, Radegonda, I see you too. Anna, welcome. So BJ, Adeyemi, so Bevlin, my friend April, glad you're here. Professor Roger, I see you too. Conchita, thank you so much for joining us. Kate, so marketing genius Brian, glad you're here. Cambria, and I say creative who makes jewelry and also does a few audio rooms as well. Do connect with them. So Naisha, I see your Tumbo, Lydia, Saga, my screen just keeps moving. Zainab, I see you as well. Oh, there's always one that nearly beats me. Abimbola, I see you too. Brandon, so my superstar, good friend and co-host, Dr. Leslie is here. Dr. Leslie, I'm waiting for our topic for Wednesday. Gozi, I see you too. Welcome, all of you. And the one I missed out, Andrew. Yeah, Andrew, got your surname first. Well, for those who don't know me, so I'm any. Essentially, I'm here to make people famous. I say that deliberately because it's part of the conversation today. So literally, I want to make people know who you are. That way, you can sell more. That's why I do my business. There's many ways I do that. So talking in these audio rooms, filling these audio rooms is part of what I exist to do. Obehi, I think the topic today is, it's an interesting one because I truly believe every business exists to transform people's lives. Let me try and say that again. You can tell people what you do or you like, right? And tell them your solution if you want. People only want to buy from you when they truly believe your solution will transform their lives. Transformative storytelling comes into that field. Now, I could have told you I do marketing, right? Easily. I do marketing, I do social media. Yes, I do emails. Yes, I do many other things in between. I help people write their books. But there's a bigger goal. There has to be a bigger goal, right? There has to be the transformation in their lives. I think Tanya and Hannah mentioned it very well. As businesses, we're here to take people from A to B, not just solve their problem, but to change their lives. Those who change lives get more customers, more business, more revenue. Everything works better when you actually change lives. If people are not buying from you, my friends, work out that you haven't told them how you transform their lives yet. It need not be a long story. And I say I'll come back to the technicalities when the time comes. But essentially, learn to look at your business as being in the game of in the transforming people's lives game. That's what we all are. No one does what they do just for the sake of that single little thing. If you can't frame your business services, your expertise in a way that changes lives, then people are not going to buy into you. So everyone that's spoken so far, you've heard what they do, but what they really do is make people's businesses grow, and then they'll give them what they want in life, which is financial freedom, success, legacy. It's all part of the picture of what we do. How do you frame your business, your existence for your ideal customers? Let me leave it there for now, Obehi. So now I'm sure you give us a chance to say our technical bits when the time comes.
Thank you so much for that, Annie. That is true. I like what you were saying. We are in business because we want to transform people's life. Where we might be hearing that a lot is the coaching business, no? But it's not only there that we actually transform people. Every business should be there to transform people, including the Amazon of the world. In fact, that is why people go there. Annie is absolutely right about that. So if your business is not transforming people, well, you are going to have to think about it to know why you are in business. So that is so beautiful. I love that. All right. So who doesn't like to hear the sound of Izu's voice? Izu, I'm so happy that I'm going to be hearing that beautiful voice. The mic is yours.
You are such a kind man, Mr. Obehi. Um, you know, consistency has always been something that I liken to you as a person, Mr. Obehi. I don't even know how you do it all the time. Coordinating the sessions has been an amazing thing that someone like me, I truly commend you for just being an exceptional person who believes so much in continuity. I just wanted to say those kind words to you. Hello, everyone who can hear my voice. My name is Izu Samuel, and I'm sending greetings and love to every one of you right here for the purpose of today's session. If you listen carefully to all the speakers, all the intelligent, brilliant, and action oriented speakers from Mr. Eni to Tanya to Hannah to all the rest of the people and Mr. Obehi himself, something would have occurred to your mind about today's topic. For me, the subject of transformation is subject to solution orientation. The subject of transformation is connected to solution orientation. Um, of course, I know that storytelling has an angle about entertainment, has an angle to inspiration, motivation, and education. But the most effectual angle to storytelling has to do with what is the solution that you are bringing to the table. And this is why the power of transformative narrative in a business storytelling is a subject that top business leaders must converge to discuss. The reason we have many businesses that rise to the top and within a short time they come down to the bottom is because there is just a list of staff based who do not really understand the connectivity between what they are doing in that organization and what the story about that organization is about. When you, as a staff or an employee or employer, founder, whatever you are connected to the business, once you can understand what the story about that business is about, believe me, you have progressed to a reasonable degree. And this is why I said that transformative storytelling is subject to, the subject of solution orientation. There is no product in the history of this world that never came out of a story. There is no product. I say this to people all the time that storytelling is the oldest brand in the history of humanity, innovation, and creativity. Because before you even innovate any single idea, business, whatever product, you must have thought about an existing problem. So when you think about that existing problem, what comes to your mind is, how can I solve this problem? How? How can I bring solution to a group of people? How? So when you think through the processes of how can you solve an existing problem, you're already telling a story. You're already designing a narrative. You're already creating an experience. So when the product is out, the only thing that can help you to sell that product beyond even your given environment is when the story around that product has gone through the stages of transformation. And the final word I'm going to say right here is, never you tell a story without having a mind to provide a solution to people. And never talk about a solution without backing it up with a story. This is really an important idea that we should all walk away with in today's conversation. This is both an idea for business owners, an idea for employees, and an idea for families, founders, no matter who you are right in this conversation today. Just ensure that you do not tell a story without providing a solution, and never you talk about a solution without backing it up with a story. So many times, all the beautiful things that you have to say can only make a meaning when you back it up with a story. So you see that today's conversation is not something that we can even cover within 2 hours. It's such an important aspect of storytelling. And this is my gentle way of welcoming every one of you to today's conversation. And I'm sure that we are going to be having the best of time as we converse through this intelligent topic curated today by Mr. Obehi and the team. Right about right here, I'm just relaxing here to make my contributions and also listen in with a plate of pepper soup. Today, I'm not having goat meat pepper soup. Today, I'm having grass cutter pepper soup. Is very delicious, right? So, and there is no other better way to listen into this conversation than enjoying this conversation today with this delicious delicacy. Mr. Obehi, please, the mic is yours, and thanks
Thank
again for having me.
Thank you so much, brother. I appreciate you. I appreciate your contribution. It is absolutely fundamental that you make mention of the word value, that it is at the centerpiece of what your story should be about. And that you also revise that if you are going to be bringing value, then you must also have a story around that, which is making it turn around now in a full cycle. That is beautiful. That is really, really beautiful. In that when we are in business, we are there because we want to bring solution to the people. If we're not bringing solution to the people, then there is no reason why we should be there. That is so beautifully said, Mr. Izu. I love that. I really do. Of course, I'm not going to be speaking so much. What I only want to say now is that now we have a lot of people in the room. We are just going to be brief so that everybody can make contributions. So when I pass the mic to you, please go straight to the point, and so that other people can also do. And Izu just now was saying continuity, consistency. And well, if we're talking of consistency, we have a lot of people that are actually having that as their color. And one of such people is Mr. Abraham. Abraham, the mic is yours, my brother. Please go ahead with with what you want to share with us.
Thank you, Obehi. Thank you, everyone. Hannah, nice to see you. Tanya, Izu, Eni, Cambry, Anjon, Kate, and Cyrus. All you guys are doing very well, and thank you to all of you on the in the audience as well. Why I wanted to talk was Obehi, you made mention about stories being transformative, and you talked about a time you celebrated hitting a particular milestone on LinkedIn, and then you made a particular point that I'm going to reference now because it's what I observed as well. And I didn't wait for it to happen again and immediately started to make the change. And this is what I have started doing because I observed a lot of people only thank their audience or people who engage on their posts when they hit a particular milestone. Maybe they've gotten a particular project, they've gotten a particular gig, they've gotten something to celebrate about, so more or less celebratory things. But forget that we share our lives on LinkedIn on a daily basis, and people are the reasons. People make us who we are. Of course, at the end of the day, if you also have to put in the work, but if you have no audience to actually applaud you or actually encourage you and motivate you, then it's actually quite difficult to keep going on that journey. So when I realized that, I was like, you know what? Why don't I start to appreciate people who engage on my post, make very insightful comments in a carousel? And today is, I think, is the 4th week that I've been doing that for the past 4 weeks. So what I do is I go through all my posts and I pick out certain comments that actually stood out for me, were transformative, were encouraging, were witty, funny, and I just put them in a carousel. And I appreciate every single one of them for taking the time to engage. What I was trying to guard against was not waiting for me to have something to celebrate before I thank my audience. And I'm trying to let them begin to see that the narratives we're having, on the LinkedIn platform should not always be when we have achieved a certain milestone. Appreciate people, thank your audience, focus on nurturing your audience and creating lasting relationships. Those should be things of value. And when you focus on things like that, people naturally will gravitate to you. So I had done this for this is the 4th week now. And I saw a comment today, someone tagged me. And I didn't even know it had such a huge impact on her, but she said she'd been following me for 3 weeks now and noticed every single Monday, I'll take the time out to create a carousel to thank my audience and to encourage them, with a carousel to show people who have been making comments. And she decided to not wait until she hit a milestone to thank people who have been supporting, encouraging, and engaging on her content. So our stories should be transformative and they should sort of prompt people to make the change. If your content isn't prompting people to make the change or to do something that will be enriching their lives and the lives of other people, we need to go back to the drawing board and start from scratch. That was what I wanted to add. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. And that is not even small, Mr. Abraham. That is not small at all. That is a lot of value there. And thank you so much for sharing that. I think, I don't know, it was yesterday or this morning, I saw a post by Eni. Eni was talking about that you should sort of limit yourself to this is the only story that you can share on LinkedIn. That why not share your story, show what is going on in your life. I think people for some time have been saying, okay, if you are in a certain platform, this is the only That okay, so maybe professional that you need to share. Okay, that is good that you need to share professional story. We're not telling you to share the story of how you and your lover are having fun now, but share story that help people to understand that you are a human being. Let them know, let them see the humanity in you. So I really find that to be very interesting that you share, any. That is very powerful. I don't know if you want to say something more about that before I pass it to the next person. Any, I'm talking to you.
Thank you. So, I always wonder who looks at my posts because I do my posts more for my fun than anything else. And like maybe there's a lesson for everyone as well, my friends. Just do what you do. I say, no, I got people who were they're very fussy. Oh, don't share that on LinkedIn. It's only for Instagram and Facebook. I'm like, what the hell? Why? Yeah, because it's personal. I'm saying, yeah, but it's business. Business is personal, right, my friends? And what you do is there to help people. As everyone said so far, if you do it and you help people, let people know. Otherwise, they'll never know and they'll never engage with you. Otherwise, you'll never be shy to tell your story, whatever your story is. I know Hannah mentioned that you might be starting early. Of course, maybe we'll start somewhere, right? But tell the story of the people whose lives you transformed. Tell the people of your dreams to transform people's lives, your plan, your model. I also talk about your unique brand solution because everyone here has their own unique way. Let's share those stories with the world. I love Isa's point. I'll come back to it in good time. Never sell a solution without telling a story. That's genius, Isa. Never tell a story without selling a solution. I tell you, it's the doctor's way of selling, my friends. It always works. That's why I take our prescription, right?
Thank you so much, Eddie. You're powerful. I love that. Of course, I will come to Tanya, but later, how this can be applied in a B2B situation. But Tanya, wait, I'm coming. I think the person that was supposed to speak is Anjo. Anjo, can you hear me? Please be very brief.
Yeah, I'll be very brief. What brought me back here was something which Annie mentioned, and I have a question for Obehi. Should Annie be selling an equivalent product which I sell, the best, every feature matches, every benefit is equivalent? Whose product would you buy, Obehi? Even before you answer that, the answer would be any. The reason is people buy when two things are similar for just two reasons. The trust reposed on the individual doing the sales and marketing, or an absolutely newbie like Gentleman Cyrus, who is something one would like to peek into. So, since I teach sales and marketing, I would like to end here. Uh, that is my reason for being here the second time. Thank you very much. Over to you, Obehi.
I appreciate you, brother. We appreciate you. That is a valuable input there. It's highly valuable. Thank you. All right, before I pass to another person, Hannah, that is actually a curiosity I was having. And somebody is thinking the power of transformative narrative in a business storytelling. If you are a B2B business, how would you approach that as a solution?
It is applicable in business to business, even more so, because when you are selling business to business, you are selling a lot more complex solutions. If you are selling software, let's say, for example, you're trying to sell software to a bank, they already have the software. Maybe they have a legacy software that they've been using, but perhaps yours is a lot better. Maybe yours, let's say, I'm going to go with an example. Maybe you offer API so that they can have more digital wallets. This bank does not have a digital wallet. Now they want to go after a younger demographic. The younger demographic obviously want everything at their disposal. They want to have an app. Maybe they don't have that. So who are you speaking to? You're speaking to another human, but everybody's pitching them. I run a business and I can tell you for free how many pitches I get in my email. And I remember there was one day I got a pitch that got me to open the email, but the email was really bland. It was really bland. It was copy and paste. And I literally replied to this person. I'm like, you know what? and this was during the AFCON. I'm like, this email would have hit so differently if I had been sharing about AFCON on all my social media, because I'm a huge soccer person, especially when it comes to tournaments. I'm like, if you had just gone through the slight 5 minutes to even check out my social media to grasp all those things and demonstrate through a picture of how you could help me, I would have taken a meeting with you and actually replied that to that email. I say this to say this particular thing. If I'm working for a bank, I'm not only making the decision myself, because the thing is, nobody has ever gotten fired for hiring IMB. Nobody has ever gotten fired for hiring AWS or spending money on AWS. These are the safest bet. So when you're working, you're trying to find a business where money is not the problem. Because when you're selling B2B, especially when you are in the mid-market or corporate level, enterprise level, money is never the problem. The objection is really, if anybody here that's B2B sales, the objection here is really money. Money is never the issue. The money is there. The money is, they can get a credit, even if it's $1 million. You have $1 million. I know softwares that sell for $1 million. They will give it to you. The issue is for them to not only trust you, but to understand how you make a difference in comparison to them doing nothing, because that's the thing, that's your competition. One of your competition is them doing absolutely nothing, because if I don't make a decision, I don't make a mistake, and I don't get fired. The other decision is going with the person that everybody goes with. I can say that, hey, this is who we've always used, or going with the one that I've been consuming content from the minute I've discovered that I have a problem, and I've been consuming content from, so that by the time we know we need to fix this, they are already on the list. Because the reality when you're doing B2B sales, if you are not on that list when they're getting into buying mode, my friend, forget it. If you can you can send 100,000 cold emails, cold DMs, it is not possible, because those ones have done the job of educating. So what is the job of that education factor? It is weaving in a transformative narrative, because you are shaping. What is transformative narrative? You are shaping a perspective. You are changing how somebody views a problem and how they approach the solution to a problem. So if I'm a bank, and we've done business like this for the last 50 years, because banking is a whole business. Why should we change? Now you start shaping the narrative that, hey, boomers are retiring. Millennials and Gen Zs, they are used to doing things on their phone. Generation Alphas were born with the internet. They expect everything on their phone. Now, Gen Zs are now the incumbent. Those are the people that are coming to the workplace. They lack convenience. They lack convenience. They want to be able to buy everything from their phone. My sister she's, I think, the last fate of millennials, just before the Gen Z, and she literally does not like going to the supermarket. She does everything on her phone. I mean, she's the one who taught me how to buy groceries on the phone. Literally, she was like, why do you need to go to the store? You can just order. So this is the generation. So you need to be able to have your bank need to be able to speak to this investment and do this. They will not, she never carries cash. She never has cash. So when you start shaping that narrative, now when you're saying to Tanya, who's the head of product or the chief, the CTO of the bank, that, hey, My software makes it easier for you to actually do this. You don't have to build it from scratch. With my API, we can have that you set up in 30 days. Because you've already changed how my perspective is around the product delivery and how the customer will appreciate this. It's easier for me to even take a chance on you, even though you are a challenger brand and you are coming up, you're a startup, in comparison to maybe just sticking with the status quo, because also through your narrative, the transformative narrative, you have showed me if I don't do nothing in the next 10 years, my bank might have closed. So when you start doing that, it's the same principle. Whether you are doing B2B, where you are selling to other businesses, you're selling to a bank, you are selling to the government, because if you sell to the government, you know that they have what you call sources sought. Why do you think government share sources sought? Because they don't understand the problem. Now, when you go, you go for the sources sought, you shape that. Like I've worked with a government contractor. It's basically you are ghosting a contract. We call it ghosting a contract, because now you shape the entire contract so that they can give it to you. Because by the time now they put out a RFP, they're putting out the requirement that will go to you, because not all companies will understand that, because you've given them how to think about the problem. Now, with you as a business, you can do that with your content. You can ghost the market through your content, because now you teach at scale what you would have done with the government at scale, how those businesses have to think about solving the problem. So you tell me, if you are the decision maker, who would you go for? So that's how you can apply transformative narrative to it.
Thank you so much, Tanya. Thank you so much. That is very beautiful. In fact, I needed that voice. I needed that approach. I needed that take. And I believe that the audience, they have also gotten value from that. Let me test them. Did you get any value from that? Just do anything, do any sign. Let me know if you get any value from that. Yes, yeah, that's it. We got the value. Thank you so much for that. All right. I think Canberra Frisia, yeah, the mic is yours. Please be brief. Let's hear your take on the conversation of the day.
Hi there, everyone. Yes, I'll definitely keep it brief. I just wanted to say that I think when it comes to transformation, people always respect lived experiences the most, and I know I do. And I'm in the process of undergoing transformation, and that I'm healing my complex post-traumatic stress disorder. And I'm utilizing CBT therapy with my therapist. And so I'm really stoked on all of that. I'm working on, I'm Cambria version 8.0 now. So anyway, I just wanted to say under promise, over deliver, and keep those solutions coming, stay solution focused. And that was all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for that. That is beautiful. I can see how much you are agree with Izu in the beautiful idea that Izu shared before, that when you are in the market, you need to come for the value, the solution. I think Izu used the word solution. What solution are you bringing to the market? And never come if you don't have a story around that. That is beautiful. If I any promise that is going to say something about that later. But anyway, we are coming to that. Now, Hannah, I want to probe you a little bit. Now, I am a client, I'm a beginner. I'm asking for tips to be effective in a transformative narrative in business storytelling. How can you help me with that?
Okay, thank you so much for that question. The first thing that I would recommend to somebody who's starting out their transformative journey would be to, first of all, walk your talk. And I love that most of us have touched on that, but I would just like to talk about what that means. A lot of the times people make promises that they cannot deliver. And so you need to know that what you're saying that you can do, you can do. So walk your talk. Talk is cheap, as everybody says, but the difference in having return customers or people who trust you is that they know that they can rely on you heavy to deliver on your promises. That'll be the first tip. The second tip would be to get proof as much as possible. And I know that when you're starting out earlier, that's a bit difficult, because how can you garner trust for people to want to work with you? And so that's where a lot of free work would have to come into the conversation. I know that that's hard for people to hear, but it's like a rite of passage. I like to see it as that. So whilst you're getting knowledge on the field, then you can begin to position yourself as authority. But if you're starting out, that might be difficult. So as much as possible, try and do, some work. Maybe charge, but I would recommend just doing it to get a feel of how it's like and whether or not you can really deliver on the said promise. And I think a final tip would be authentic. There's nothing that beats that. A lot of the times, people want to present themselves as what they're not, and that's the problem. Be yourself. And I touched on that in the beginning of my point when I was speaking. A lot of the times, people think that you need to have arrived. It's okay to tell people, look, I'm still in the process of my journey. I love how Cambria spoke about she's still healing. And I love that. That's really authentic. That's really transparent. That's you saying, well, this is where I am. And there's nothing to be ashamed of. In fact, people would trust you more because that's so relatable. And a lot of the times we remove the human element, which is a big part of conversion, which is a big part of sales, which is a big part of anything in business. You are dealing with humans after all. So how can you appeal to the human side? I think when we throw a lot of lingos out there and we tend to use a lot of big words, we sort of lose focus on the fact that we are dealing with humans. So how can you deal with humans? Be relatable. Say words that they can relate to, paint pictures that they can see themselves in. It's okay to say, listen, I'm not there yet, but these are the things that I'm doing to get there. Let them follow you on your journey. People tend to even feel like they know you a bit more when they have gone through your journey with you. With that said, I'm going to drop a bonus because I want it to be 3 points. Be patient with yourself. Be gracious with yourself. I'm always a believer and an advocate of taking things slow and really going through the process, really, really understand where you're at in your journey and own it, but also be really patient with yourself. I really, really hope that this helps someone out there starting out the transformative journey. And listen, everyone out here, everyone that you see up on stage, we will be really happy to help whichever way that we can. So pop a message. Don't feel like your problem is too small, your challenge might be too big. Pop us a message and see how we can help. If we can't help you, be sure to recommend you. On that note, I'm Hannah Idachaba, and it's over to you, Mr. Obehi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hannah. That is so true. We are here for your solution. And like Izu has said, we are here because there is a solution for you. If we can't find a solution for you, then we don't have any reason to be here, because that is the promise that we have made. And that is why we are here every day. We are coming all the time, bringing in different people to share their expertise with you. Because if you pay attention to what they are sharing here, sharing their experiences in the business world, what they are coming across, and what you can leverage also in your own business, then you are going to have a lot of value for you for the time that you are spending here. And that is really important. Of course, I want to remind us again that this room is being recorded for the sake of those who are not here, because it's going to be turned into a video that's going to be on YouTube on our channel so that other people can learn from you. So if you have a value to share here, please come out to the stage. We are here to listen to you. We are not here just to talk to you. We are here also to listen to you. All right. So I don't know if it was Cyrus or Kate that came before. Anyway, Cyrus, please share with us and be brief.
Hi, everyone. Obehi knows that I talk too much. So it is such an amazing room, and it's always a pleasure to be here. Guys, I just wanted to say, I'm going to go right to the point. As I always tell I'm teaching my classes, most of the brands, when they tell their air quotes transformative stories, they don't tell the customer how they can transform the customer's life. Because at the end of the day, if the customer finds out your brand is not going to help them find a mate, find food, find ways to thrive or survive, they're not interested. That poor guy, that poor girl is bombarded by 3,000 pieces of information, 3,000 pieces of advertising information from the moment she or he wakes up to the moment he or she goes to bed. 3,000 pieces of information from the side of the bus to the I don't know, on the telly, on TV, on the radio, on the internet. People are bombarded by it. You have 5 seconds. That's it. You have 5 seconds to make it or break it. Okay, don't make your story too long. if you want to look at it from a like more important perspective, just make sure you put yourself in the position of a guide. Don't put yourself in the position of a hero. People are not there to find yet another hero. Make the customer the hero of the story. Don't make the mistake that many other people make. Businesses that put themselves in the position of the hero are destined to die. Businesses that put the customer in the position of the hero are destined for greatness. So be Yoda. Don't be Luke the Skywalker. Be Yoda all the time. So please always remember, the customer is there to find something to help them thrive, survive, and something like whatever you're doing, make sure you're solving a problem, solving their problem. Customer is king. Okay, always remember that, guys. I love you so much. I'm going to continue to listen.
Thank you so much for that. That you see, that is inestimable. We can't even value that. You are not the hero. The customer is the hero. That is so beautiful. Thank you so much for that sharing. That is really powerful. I think that is what the entire process is all about. That is what it's all about. It's about the audience, the listener, the client in this case, the customer. They are the reason that the business exists. They are the reason we are providing the solution, the value. Talking about the solution again, that reminds me of Izu. You see, Izu talked about it before, and I think he's going to help us now. Izu, how do you frame your solution into your business storytelling? What are the strategies? How will you do that?
I don't know. You asked me this question when I was about to swallow something, But let me just relax and answer the question, and then I swallow something. For those of you just joining, I mentioned initially that I was enjoying this conversation. Started this conversation with a pot of pepper soup. I like to enjoy Obehi's conversations with something delicious. So to answer your question, Mr. Obehi, believe me, this is gonna be in continuation from what Hannah said concerning how much people should be authentic. So let's look at an extensive conversation around what Hannah said. Here, people don't buy products. People buy the idea of those products. People they don't just buy products, they buy the idea about those products. And the idea about a product is what is called framing. Framing. The concepts and the psychology of framing comes from an authentic journey. And what this means, ladies and gentlemen, if you were just a new business starting your journey, you should be able to learn not just about yourself as the founder, but you should be able to take the people in your team along this journey, guiding them through understanding what the story about your business is about. Now, without that understanding, the idea of the product that you want to sell, you are selling to your clients, may not be sold effectively. You can be selling a powerful product with less customer base because the idea of the product has not been communicated effectively. First, understand the story about the product. And by understanding the story is very simple. If you are newly employed to an organization, the first thing you should do in the first 6 months is not just to show your enthusiasm, it's not just to show your energy. What you should do is to be able to understudy what story created that organization. What story created that organization? And let's look at the other side of it. If you are just creating an idea or a product, you should be able to sit down and understand what story informed the creation of that product. What are the stories? What are some of those experiences, those narratives that resulted in the creation of that product? Because I realized that many people just create without understanding why they are creating. The second way to be able to discuss the idea of framing is that you must understand the communication angle to framing and the idea of a product. No matter how powerful your story is or the idea of a product is, if you have not mastered how to orally communicate your story, the idea about your story, if you have not mastered how to write it down in simple, clear, precise, and coherent manner rather, people may not be able to connect to the framing of your idea. And the third thing that I'm going to say concerning this discussion on framing is that you must come alongside myself as we return back to Anna's point on authenticity. We have so many people who reduce the density of impact about their stories and the idea of a product because they have, along the line, they lost that authentic voice. Every product has a voice, every solution has a voice. And once you lose that voice, believe me, you have lost potential clients who would have bought into your product and also invested into your product. So every product has a voice. And the voicing comes from both the customers, both the founders. Is a whole, like it's a project. It's a project, it's an experience. So losing that voice can mean so many things to different people. As a founder, when you begin to compare your product with that of other people, for example, you are in Africa and you want to create a platform that can be likened to Facebook. And instead of focusing on the reason why you're creating your own platform, you're already talking about evaluative analysis between your own product and that of Mark Zuckerberg. Believe me, over the time, you are going to be outshadowed by the impact and the business structure and analysis of Facebook. So, what that means is in creating an idea, focus very strongly on the voice that backs up the product that you want to sell. So, I'm going to go back to the first thing I said because that is the foundation of everything I'm saying right here about framing. People don't buy products, people buy the idea about that product. And the idea of the product is completely subject to how the communication about that product is done. And remember, you cannot communicate effectively until you have paid attention to details that will give you a balance to be able to say some certain words that would connect you and resonate to the right clients who would invest and buy into your product. The final thing I said, I was talking about you being authentic and not losing your voice, as opposed to what happens in most market platforms. People just want to copy other people's ideas because Obehi is running a room on storytelling. So I just want to start my own room on storytelling. Let me start talking about stories. And before you know it, I start cloning Obehi. Well, the funny thing is this: when you come back to Obehi's room, there will be something called substance that you would never get from my own room. So, ladies and gentlemen, whether you are starting in the journey of story or you're old in your business, you're starting a business or you're old in your business, please use these styles and suggestions that I have provided you to be able to frame your story in a way that it can effectively resonate with your potential audience and clients. And the final thing I'm going to say to you is, in the words of Aristotle, there was a research he did some pretty years ago about storytelling. That book is about 426 pages. It was talking about the theory of storytelling as it connects to business, humanity, and the society. He said one word that really stuck to me. He was talking about the subject matter of cause and effect. Cause and effect. Never you tell a story that does not have a direct connection with who you are as it relates to the people that wants to connect to the story that you're talking about. The subject matter of cause and effect is a dimension in storytelling that can help you to effectively build a structure, build a system, design a style that when you tell your story chronologically, it just flows and connects to any client, any potential audience that just wants to buy into your product and be part of your business. I'd like to say thanks to all of you for listening to my talk, and I'll yield the mic to you, Mr. Obehi. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Izu. That is really powerful. I think actually it turned a full circle in that we are talking about uh, who is listening to us? Who are you telling your story to? Who is the audience? Like Cyrus said, is that you are not the hero. By you, I mean me. Yes, by me, I mean also you who is telling the story. Is that we are not the hero. The hero are the people we are telling this story to. In this audio room, we have stressed that a number of times because it is important, it is vital. And I really thank you, Izu, for stressing that. Because until we do that, our story will not land. It will just land on some rocky space because it will not land on the people. The people have certain senses and sensibility. Because if we know that the story is for them, then we must frame it in a way that when they listen to it, when they hear it, when they read it on a piece of paper or a book, they will see themselves inside the story. We are not going to compare the people to see themselves into the story. We are framing the story based on the experiences of the people because we know who the people are. We know who the audience are. It is not on the audience to find, to go and research the story. It is on us that are telling the story to research the audience and know who they are. Because if we do that, then it will relate to them as if we have actually been talking to the individual them. And that is what it's all about. It is about the individual them, their experiences. When we do that, it will work. Because there is something buried inside the science and psychology of storytelling that make it impossible to be ignored if it is told correctly. All right, Julius Afolabi, I think you are the next person to speak. Please be brief. We are really here to listen to you. We are all here for you.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. Obehi. The conversation has really been a very interesting, educative one. And my special appreciation to everyone that has spoken before now. Now, I say that I'm coming from the B2B aspect right now. The truth is that storytelling is an inevitable skill in business. Your story must be able to create a story for those that hear it. Can they create their own story from your own story? That's the big question, right? I am focused on result architecture, helping you to be able to create business solutions that are locally compatible and globally competitive. So it simply means that you have to come from your own zone of excellence. You know, stories become more authentic when they are originating from your own personal experience. And just like you briefly summarized when you were before handing over to me, that you've got to have the details of those that you're talking to. You understand where their pain and their pleasures are, so you can drive them through the story. There is no better way of leaving a legacy in the mind of your audience like a story. People remember stories more than the details that you do, the data or whatever that you reel out most of the time when you're having a conversation. I remember very well when I was pitching the microfinanced bank, right? So I was coming from the commercial banking aspects and having spent some time there. So while pitching, the pitching was that, of course, you are at a particular level. You've got to meet people where they are. That's the only way they can ride with you because you're taking the journey you want to take them through. So taking them through that route of performance improvement, that was the pitch, right? You want to do just like other bigger banks are doing. What difference would it make in the life of a customer who goes into a commercial bank or a first class bank and the one that comes into your microfinance bank and have the same experience? What does that change for you? So in telling transformational stories into businesses, you've got to understand the business, the industry, and the trend. When Tanya was speaking, she was talking about the generational, differences, how the generational audience relates to products. So when a story is carved from that perspective, you are talking from the perspective of who the business serves, which is their reason for being in business. So when you take the story from who they serve, which is their reason for being in business, and the story involves the improvement of their process, and scaling of their business as it relates to their customer, it becomes a welcome discussion. You don't have to talk for too long. Okay, like engaging similar colleagues after leaving the banking industry. My showing up as an ex-banker with my profile was one authority to be listened to. And because I was relating the issues that they face on a day-to-day basis, the story was easy to tell. So transformation basically has to start from where you have to meet people where they are. Be clear. Somebody was talking about messaging. The clarity and the simplicity of your message is what helps the people to be able to understand and see themselves in their story. That's why I said, can your story create their own story? Can they see themselves without you calling them out in the story? That when somebody is listening or reading the story, it's like somebody eavesdropped on their pains while you were architecturing your story. And if it creates a journey, they will be interested in what? Taking that particular route with you. So for me, I think that it is very important for you to understand, to be clear about what the journey of the intended audience would be, what their pains have been, where they are. You meet them where they are and be able to help them grow from where they are, even if it is just an inch. Somebody already mentioned it's no, we're not talking about perfection here. We're looking at progress, right? Am I able to move from this particular stage where I am to the next page? What does it take? How easy can it be? So in telling stories, we also mention tools, right? You are going to have to look at the mindset, the skill set, and the tool set. What are the things that are going to enable you create your own story in my own story, right? So in framing the story, it's going to be concise, but at the same time, it's going to be illustrative enough for the person to be able to take the first step. So that's how I see that we can create transformational stories, and it's easy for people to buy into your ideology and concept. Mr. Izu was talking about the framing, which is this is all that goes into the framing before it comes out. So these are all represented in architecturing a journey, at the same time, letting the person that sits under your voice have an experience, an unforgettable experience, so that they can create their own story. So that's the bits from my side. Thank you very much for having me, Mr. Obehi.
Thank you so much, Julius. You are powerful. In fact, not only in the enunciation of how you say your words, but the sense is so perfect. It's so in line with what we are talking about here, which is actually, you are using the word carve a story. I don't know if somebody, maybe because you are coming from an architectural background, I don't know if that's actually where you are coming from, because I can read somewhere that architect, in architect, you have the arc really. I can really see the arc, like you are really carving out. Can you see a rock? Somebody is carving a structure out of a rock. So it basically means that when we tell story now, we are creating an image. And that image, I will transform it now into a mirror. And that mirror, when somebody look at it, now the person will not see any other thing but him or herself. Can you imagine how powerful that can be? That you are telling a story that is helping somebody to participate in this transformation, and at the end of the day, this person will find himself and herself a better version. That can be powerful. Thank you so much, Julius, for this sharing. It really touches me in a particular way. I like the way you put it out. I like the way you lay it out. And I believe that a lot of people would make sense out of that. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. All right, we're talking about the power of transformative narrative in a business storytelling. And I'm going to call on Annie. Annie, now, let's look at it this way. Because we are talking of transformation, how would you personalize your transformative narrative in a business storytelling? Please help us, take us on that journey.
Many of the amazing points that our speakers have made, allude to this point. So thank you so much, everyone that shared it with us. I see a few more of you have joined us. Maria, I see you. Bill, welcome. Namo, I see you as well. And unfortunately, we didn't get to hear from you, Kate. I think you were next on our list. Akin Gunsola, Hopefully I pronounced your name properly. For Nigerian, I'm shameful, I agree. Now, Risi, I see you. Habib, Janice, I see you as well. My good friend Coral. Now, Coral, now she's a perfumery expert. So connect with her if perfume is your thing, my friends. So Marquez, I see you as well. My good friend Mr. David Bowers is here. It's a business growth all the way in South Africa and across all of Africa, really. Poliwatiwi, I see you. Rishraj, welcome. Abdul, say my friend Jason, who have I missed? Oh, Sivi, I'm sure I haven't mentioned you yet. Dr. Barthelew, hopefully I pronounced your name properly as well. And Jay, I see you as well. Cynthia, Brandon, Terrence, I could carry on, but thank you for spending your time with us. Now, Obehi, like I said, everyone's knows I've mentioned the importance and how you can personalize the stories. I think that there's a bit for everyone in there. I guess from my point of view, as well as knowing, you start with knowing who you're talking to, of course. And I said, and I will make the point, which has been made also, that you have to learn how to tell stories. In a business setting, don't just assume because we can tell, because we can say things, we can tell good stories. A business story has certain the stages it must go through. It has, so you mentioned the hero part, for example. Again, that's a principle that you have to learn. But before I come on to that, my biggest takeaway for today is this: our stories must be specific to the audience. We must know who we're talking to. That's the only way we're going to use the words that they use and use context to back up our claims. Again, I think it was mentioned right at the beginning. Authenticity, honesty, where you are as a business, it all counts. I love, say, Izu's idea that it's not so much the solution that people want. It's not so much the transformation that they really want. It's the idea that they buy into. So let's build on people's wishes, people's way of thinking. And the only way you can build into that is by making sure your story touches them individually. And again, how do you do that? By simply making sure you know who they are, and then you talk to them. I don't say that lightly. The way you talk to people to make them understand is by painting a picture. Again, that's been said so many times today, right? You paint a picture with examples, my friends, examples. Be specific. See, I see stories every day. I'm sure you do too, Obehi, where people just they make bland statements. Yeah, I'll get you to for now 40,000, 40,000 pounds in revenue in a week. You're like, how are you going to do that then? There's not, there's nothing behind it. It's generic. Anyone can say that. Make sure your story comes from an expert on the topic, and the people listening know that you're an expert on the topic by hearing you. You see, again, some of the stories we hear it's pure fluff. It's generic, boring, flaccid storytelling at its best. Amateurs can say anything, right? But when you listen to an expert, the experts, they understand the context. They knit bits of the story together that fits you. So you can, as we mentioned also, unless you can see yourself in the stories, in the examples I'm giving, how's it ever going to work? But see, the experts know how to bring the different parts that I care about. Things that are going to make me say, yes, okay, you get me. You understand what I'm going through. Maybe your solution might just be something useful. So without giving examples, my friend, you're not going to give people enough context. One, to give you credibility, but two, to actually believe a word you're saying at all. Now, you must give examples. Examples is what separates the amateur from the expert. It really is. But again, if you know what you're doing, the way you paint those examples have to be tailored to each particular person you're talking to. I can hear you say, "How do I know who I'm talking to?" Look, now I'll leave you a few main points. Hopefully, that might answer the question. Now, understand your target audience, your ideal customers' pain points. Know what they're really struggling with. Know how that feels. Now, more importantly, know what the solution that they're looking for is. The solution is not the solution. It's a weird thing to say, my friend. The solution they think they want is that's a solution, right? So paint a picture of how you understand what they're looking for in their heads, and also paint a picture of how your solution is a better fit for what they're looking for. Learn how to tell stories. There's no way around it. Learn how to tell stories. Learn how to bring different parts of the stories together. And so Obehi's books obviously is a big part of that. So maybe the last I'll say is this. To tell a transformative story, you need to bring experts together. You need to look at Obehi's books. You need to talk to Obehi, bring Hannah, into the picture, and bring Tanya into the picture. And bring Mr. Easier into the picture. And the people who know how to tell stories, sit with them and say, right, here's the story I'm trying to tell. How can we piece this together that conveys my vision, the right structure, and my solution? So all that work is done long before you open your mouth to telling the story at all. Hopefully that's answered your question.
Absolutely. And of course, for those of us that are listening and to those who will listen later, because like I said, this room is being recorded intentionally because we want it to live. We have a project in Aclasses that we call Life and Legacy. In that project, we basically go around, within the African diaspora, because that is our main target. We are looking for people that have shaped our history. We are rewriting the experiences that we have learned from them. Yesterday, I did an interview talking about Marcus Garvey. For there are many other in the diaspora who have shaped our history. We are asking a simple question: what is their legacy? What can we learn from them? So when we are creating content, we are imagining not just now, we are imagining even the future. We are imagining a time when I am no longer alive, you are no longer here. Somebody will take up this piece of information and will still get value from it. So we're not thinking of just doing this room right now. We are doing it even for the future. Therefore, we are careful of what we say. We are being intentional, and we are going to show up all the time, as long as we have the possibility to do that. Because we are talking about storytelling. Where else should we do this? In storytelling. And like Annie has said, there are all these people that are here available for you to use. There are resources for you to use in your business. Of course, I understand that all the information are right there, but you cannot piece it together. No one can piece all of them together on his or her own. That is why we need each other. You need to leverage the experiences that you are hearing. Like, call any of us. Can you help me do this? On my own, I cannot solve all the problem. When I need help, I call her, seek assistance. It was through Tanya that I know of System.io. That is what I'm using for my business today. I didn't know that before. I cannot pretend to know everything. Even as I'm talking to you, I don't know everything. Without any, this room will not be existing. How many have I mentioned? There are many other I can go on listing like that, which is to say, I alone cannot do everything. So seek out for help if you need help. On our website, we have more than 1,300 articles talking about what we are talking about right now. So there are information for you if you want to learn. We have courses, training classes. We have books that you can access. So the information are here. Take advantage of that. This is what we are essentially talking about. This room is being recorded. It's going to be available for you. Take action. I'm sort of thinking that it is important that we take action, because if you don't take action, then it is useless at the end of the day, because we spend all the time here to give you value. But that is where it ends. Taking it on from there is your responsibility, not mine. It's not Izo. It's not Annie. Annie has done what he can do, and that is where it ends, because it's a responsibility that look on both sides. I have my role, you have your role. All right. I see Mr. Vincent joining us from, that is from Kenya. Vincent, please go ahead and share with us.
Okay, thank you. I want to apologize. Once in a while, you may have some background noise. It's because of my location. I just want to appreciate you first for being an epitome of what a powerful transformative narrative business story can be, for your consistency in ensuring that we have such kind of empowering rooms. I also want to appreciate Izu, Amy, Tanya, Julius, Hannah, and the speakers who were eloquent just before I stepped in. I wonder what I'm going to share. When you speak last, maybe the best thing I can do is just to repeat what has been shared and then go my way. I want to begin by saying, in our organization, SASKS, our our tagline has been connect, inspire, transform. And there is a reason we use those three words, because in everything we do, we need to connect. And connecting, it means we have to find the common ground between who I am. I need to find the common ground between who I am and who obeys is. And then that common ground, what have I done extraordinary, or what have I done excellently? Then that story inspires obey. And through inspiration, we are able to transform, take that journey to the next step. So we use connect, inspire, transform to deliberately remind us every single day that we need to find common ground with our respective people that we are seeking to serve. We need to inspire them. And at the end of the day, we want to see transformation as the result. But then we live in a very interesting world. We live in a world where people are focused on selling themselves and selling their ideas until they are forgotten on becoming whatever they are selling. We live in a world where people are selling business ideas until they are forgotten to become whatever they're selling. And that is why one of the values of business, transformative narratives in business storytelling, as Anna has mentioned, because I heard everybody repeating, is authenticity. How can you become authentic if you're focused on selling instead of becoming? How can you become authentic if your focus is on telling instead of becoming whatever you're sharing? So when we talk about the power of transformative narratives in business storytelling, I am introspecting and saying that I need to be what I am selling. I need to be the example of the story that I am selling. My job should not be to craft a serious narrative, but to become that serious narrative. And that means that on a day to day basis, I need to work on myself. My team needs to work on themselves so that we can exemplify that story that we tell. So that when people read the social media, make a phone call to us or write an email to us, and finally meet us in person, and we deliver, there is consistency in the brand that we are selling. There is authenticity in that consistency, from the website to posts to quotes. But we live in a world where people just quote because they want followers, they want comments. So even the simple values like integrity, cannot be followed. And when we talk about transformative narrative, it means you need to set yourself apart. A gentleman wrote a book called The Blue Ocean Strategy. It means you need to become the blue ocean in your industry. And how do you become the blue ocean? You don't focus on the competitors. It is important to be aware of them, but you focus on becoming the best version of yourself. And I believe that is why, whether you're using an Android or you're using an iPhone, they continuously update the system, their software. Not because the current software is not serving, no, but every single time they want the best software of their own gadgets. So there will be iOS 1 all the way to iOS 17, all the way to iOS 18, because they want the best version of the softwares. So ourselves, are we focusing on telling and forgetting on becoming? And I think that's why Michelle Obama wrote the book called Becoming, to remind us that as much as we focus on telling and selling, we should never forget on becoming. And that said and done, I love what Israel said, that let us focus on progress than perfection. At the end of the day, great brands that are very good at storytelling, brands like Coca-Cola, worldwide brands like Coca-Cola internationally, locally here in Kenya, brands like Safaricom, they focus on their progress. They don't focus on the perfection. When you look at their adverts, when you look at their commercials, they are telling a story of what their products can do and the environments with which they are doing very well. So for me, I'll simply say, let us focus on becoming and not just telling and selling. Therefore, our brand authenticity is anchored on us becoming whatever we are selling. Thank you so much, and back to your page.
Thank you so much. That is powerful. That is so powerful. In fact, I've given an instance here a couple of times now of a US who went to a US tourist who went to France. Let me be fast on that because of time. So he ate a good food that he really liked in Paris. Then when he was leaving, he bought a book from the cook. It was a cookbook. Then he returned to US. Then he tried to replicate what the cook explained in the book. But then he returned to France another year. Then he went to meet the cook. He told the cook, but I did everything you said in the book, but your food is still different from the one that I could cook. Then the cook asked him, well, there was something that is missing. You didn't put yourself inside it. Well, that is something that is really important here, I think, listening to what you're saying, Vincent, is that what we are saying should not be different from what we are doing. In that we should be saying what we are doing and doing what we are saying. At the end of the day, we will not confuse people. Because until we do that, people are going to be confused. They see you as one thing in your communication. And when they see you in real person, they see something completely different. That will be confusing. So thank you so much. That is really an important thing to say. All right, we have come to such an important point where I ask all of you to say your last part, which is usually maybe a kind of a message that you want to leave the people by. So I will pass to Hannah. Of course, we need to respect the ladies. So Hannah, what is your final take here?
Oh goodness, I've had such an amazing time during today's event. I've had so much value already, and I hope everyone has gotten value too. With that said, I would end by just saying something really short, which is transformation should start from our mind. And I love that we've touched on transforming our mindsets. But I do believe that if we want true transformation, it should first come from us. Because, like I mentioned in the beginning, sometimes we have already checked ourselves out from equations even before getting to that point. We've already limited ourselves. We've already, put a lot of restrictions upon ourselves that don't even exist on the grand scheme of things. And so let's first try to transform our mindset. How do we see ourselves? How do we see our businesses? And that would reflect in how we're able to sell the idea of transformation to our target market and beyond. Thank you so much. I'm going to end here.
All right, thank you so much. I appreciate that. All right, so Mr. Izu, I believe you wanted to say something about Vincent, but in any case, what is your final take if you even want to add that to it?
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Eni. It's been a phenomenal conversation today. So much box of interesting values to take away from today's talk. But I just wanted to say two things. One will be directed to Mr. Otumbo Vincent, distinguished Toastmaster. So, my friend, I will be coming to Kenya to carry out a project. So I'll be very glad if we can have a conversation after this call, maybe just send some tests and then talk about it later on. I like the way you communicated your values, and I just like the African personality I just listened to in you. And the second thing I'm going to say right here as I yield the mic to Mr. Obehi is, please, ladies and gentlemen, these talks can only make a meaning when you deliberately decide to action the words, the points, the ideas you heard from all the speakers and all the beautiful people that came right to this on the stage. And by that I'm saying, in the words of Mr. Eni, please ensure your stories are specific. Don't just tell stories. Ensure your stories are specific. The specificity of your story is what makes the story to make very great impact. And in the words of Mr. Vincent DTM, you know, as much as it's important for us to sell, to transact, it is even more important for us to focus on what we are becoming in the process. Because the process of becoming is what energizes the market to even make a meaning and attract the right set of clients into your space. And final word, you can never do greater than any story. You can never sell better than any story. There is no product that is more powerful than any story. It takes a story to make a product, to make a product to be powerful. It takes a story to make a product to be powerful. So with that said, I'd like to say thanks to all of you for listening in. I was anticipating to listen to Kate, but I'm not sure what happened to her. Maybe she had some network challenges, and all other beautiful people in the VIP lounge. Let's do this again, and let's keep the fire burning as much as we can regarding storytelling. My name is Izu Samuel, and it's been a great time. I yield the mic to you, Mr. Obehi.
Yes, my brother. Thank you. Thank you so much. We appreciate you. All right, Annie, what is your final take? We are closing after you.
Thank you. No, I'm humbled, Mr. Izu. I really am. Thank you so much for your kind words. Monica, I don't know if I mentioned you. I see you, Anthony, as well. Alex, I'm sure I mentioned you. Sylvia, have I mentioned you? Okay, I have now. Thank you all for joining us. Whether you join us beginning, middle, or end of our event, I always appreciate all of you. And look, it's been an amazing conversation. And I've taken lots of notes, and it's great to learn from all of you. I loved what Mr. Vincent said. When we become what we say we are, life is so much easier. There's no confusion. And we don't confuse ourselves. Many people tell stories and they don't know which story they've told this person, and the next one becomes a different variation of the story. There's a point there, Mr. Vincent. Thank you so much for sharing with us. Look, I'll leave you with, I guess, two things. And so, one is from Mr. Izu's way of thinking, for what he said today. To never share a solution without a story. There's something in that, my friends. No one's going to get it unless you put a story behind it. Unless you do the things we're talking about today, no one's going to understand how you can really help to make them transform their lives. Let's learn to tell stories. And so my last point today really is, check out Obehi's books. There's resources out there. There's people. I'll say this. And the last time we were in this room over here, we said, contact us if you want help. And someone chased me. I'm like, why are you chasing me? How can I help you? He said, I want a 17-word story for my pictures. I'm like, 17 words? Why 17 words? I don't know where the 17 words come from. So I'm saying literally, you can learn or you can ask us for help. Obehi's books, it's not one book. There's several of them that you can definitely learn storytelling from. So when there's tools out there, let's learn to use them. So otherwise, feel free to ask people like us on stage. Our time is not always free. I'll say that much. Neither should it be. I'm sure your products are not free either. So I appreciate expertise when you see it, my friends. It's been a joy spending time with you over here. So as always, let's do it again in another 2 weeks' time. I can't wait, my friend.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And of course, to the people that are listening and also those that are going to be listening after this, the people that are here, they are yours. They are yours to use. They are your tools. Use them for your business. They are experts in their different field. Of course, you can hear them talk, listening to Tanya, Hannah, listening to Izu, listening to Annie. You just heard from Otubo Vincent, and even Julius, though his picture is not here, we can see that these are live what they are talking about. So it is important that this individual, you leverage their presence, their experiences. Ask them, can you help me? Please, don't leave it in your mind. If you believe that is something you need, ask them. I just share with you how Tanya helped me to get to System IO. Maybe you also using that. I didn't know that I was struggling with another system that I was using before in my business. She taught me, said, this one is good. And I tried it, it's good. What if I never ask? Annie was the one that suggested it one day, say, hey, you can take advantage of Audio Room. I've been on LinkedIn for a very long time. I never thought of that. But because somebody suggested it and I tried it, I'm doing it today. So you can also ask wherever you are. Yeah. Okay, I said the last person to talk there. Please go on and share with us. We have a few minutes for you. That is Cynthia.
Okay, hello everybody. Good evening. Good evening. My name is Cynthia. I wouldn't waste our time. I just wanted to appreciate Mr. Ini. He sent this particular audio event to my DM, and I do not regret being here. So this is just a special shout out and appreciation to Mr. Ini. Thank you so much.
Thanks to you. We appreciate you for being here. And of course, the godfather of all, Eni, we thank you so much for the great work that you are doing. And of course, this room does not exist in vacuum. It exists because people like Eni, Izu, Tanya, and Hannah, and of course, Abibola, even though she had some challenges with network today, no, actually with her battery today, they are the reason behind the success that we see here. So we appreciate each and every one of you. We do. Thank you so much. And please come around again. Every 14 days, we are here. We are intentionally about that because we understand what the power of storytelling can do for our business and for our community. And of course, we have another room which is dedicated to African diaspora storytelling. There, we talk about ourselves, how to heal ourselves, how to leverage the power of storytelling to build our community. That is a different conversation altogether, but it's highly valuable. It's highly valuable. So the power of storytelling is up for us to grab. Don't let it go. Grab it and use it for yourself. So thank you, brothers and sisters. It has been really very beautiful here.